Hey guys, it's February 1st, 2021, and this is the update to the update. Yeah. So, last video, if you haven't watched it, go back and watch it now because none of this will make sense unless you watch that one first. So, last video, which was the vlog number 32, okay, very ending left off with a BFP. Big fat positive. And so let's continue from there. So that was on December 28th when I got the BFP. Now, Antflow was due on December 29th. And December 29th came and gone, no Antflow. The next day, on December 30th, I tested again, and the line was a little bit darker. So I decided to start testing every 2 days. So I tested on January 1st and January 3rd. And here's the test showing you that. At this point, there was still no Antflow, so this was happening. Oh my God. So I called my PCP and scheduled an appointment. So they were going to get me in on January 12th. And yeah, so I just had to wait until the 12th for that appointment for the confirmation and hope nothing bad happens in the meantime. So as I'm waiting for the 12th for that appointment, on Sunday, January 10th, I went to the bathroom and I wiped and there was brown spotting. Looked like this. I decided to wait a little bit and go back to the bathroom and to double check before I made any rash decisions. It was that evening, so like doctors weren't open or none of that stuff. So I went back to the bathroom 45 minutes later and I had pink spotting. And so this started to scare me because it was turning out just like last time. We decided to go to the ER. Now at this point, I'm 5 weeks, 4 days pregnant, and I go to the ER and they do the whole workup, you know, they take your blood, they do the pap, they do ultrasound and all this stuff. So comes to find out I have a bacterial infection, and when they do the pap, they can see in there that the cervix is closed and there's some brown blood, you know, in there up close to the cervix, but they don't see it bleeding from anywhere. They did an ultrasound and they saw a sac in the uterus, but I wasn't far enough along to see anything beyond that. But throughout the whole process, there was no more bleeding, no more blood, no more spotting, no more anything. Even after everything that they did, like no more ever came out. So that was a good sign. So they did my HCG and my numbers was 5,084. So of course I had my appointment 2 days later and they wanted me to have my doctor do more blood and make sure that my numbers are doubling. They wanted it to be pretty close to 10,000 or over. So we just had to wait and see how that appointment goes. So Tuesday rolls around and it's time for my doctor's appointment. At this point, I'm 5 weeks, 6 days pregnant. And I go and basically they proved that, you know, made me take a urine test, says I was pregnant, and then they drew some blood to get my numbers. Gave me some prenatals and sent me on my way. Anyways, so the next morning they called me and the doctor said that my HCG was 7,036 and that since my numbers at the ER were like 5,000, this was not going to be a viable pregnancy and I'm probably going to have a miscarriage. So at this point, I'm just devastated because it's not what I wanted to hear. Everything had been going right. My breasts have been hurting so bad. And that was the main symptom I was having besides exhaustion, is they were constantly in pain. So I'm just sitting there and the doctor's telling me that if, I don't start to lose it on my own, I'll have to go in and get a D&C and all this other jazz. And I'm just like, so I was like, I need to go to an OBGYN. So I found a guy, local, and I called him up and he was able their office was able to get me in the next day. So now we're up to January 14th, and I had my first OB/GYN visit. So of course, the first thing, you know, I tell him is about the ER visit and about going to my doctor. And he says, you cannot rely on 2 different labs because their numbers are going to be off. You have to have your testing done at the same thing. So he says, don't even worry about that. Throw that out the window and we're going to start over. So he does a full workup, you know, again, like the ER does. They do a PAP and they do, you know, all these exams and everything on you. And he says he doesn't feel anything out of the ordinary. Nothing looks off. He wants to do blood work. He wants to see me weekly until we can make sure it's not ectopic and everything's going fine. And then at 8 weeks, we'll do an ultrasound. Now at this point, I am, where am I at? 6 weeks, 1 day. So I only had 2 weeks to wait for an ultrasound. He also prescribes me progesterone, the pills, because he said that this is the only thing he has found that had actually made pregnancies progress. So he's sticking me on them regardless of my numbers, but he wants to check that anyways with the blood work. So, okay, good. I'll take him. That's fine. They said they were going to call the next day with the results from the HCG, but they never called. And part of me didn't even want to know what my numbers were. So, I kind of felt like if they were actually worried, from what my ER report said to what the blood drawn that day said, then they would have called me and said something, right? So the following week, on Tuesday, January 19th, I had my next appointment, and Kevin was able to go with me. He's able to go with me to all my appointments, so that's fantastic, especially with COVID. They tell me that my HCG was 8,728 last week. Now my progesterone was an 11.4, and they said anything over a 10 is good. They're going to try to, hopefully those pills bring it up a little bit more, but they were pleased with those results. And then they drew more blood, and they said they would call me for sure and let me know what my numbers were. So, of course, Wednesday morning rolls around, and sure enough, they call me. I am so scared. I don't even want to answer the phone because of these numbers. So I answer the phone, and she tells me that my numbers are 19,992, and that they looked good. Like that's what they were looking for, perfect numbers. Now, my numbers aren't doubling every 48 hours, but the doctor said he doesn't care about that. He only wants them to be progressing. So, ultrasound was coming up the next week. So we're up to Tuesday, January 26th. It's ultrasound day. And I am beyond just freaking out because I'm just, you work up to this and everything's been going, wishy-washy. So you're kind of like, is it going to be there? Is it not? Like, what if there's not a heartbeat? What if it is? Like, what if everything's fine? Like, so of course we get in there and we start to do it, and I was able to record a little piece. So you guys watch this.
6 years? The whole technology system, really.
Isn't it amazing?
Yeah.
173, very good.
All right.
Okay, now we're just going to make a quick little video clip of that heartbeat. Then we're going to check your ovaries. Then you'll be done with all this. Yay! Okay.
So, I mean, there it was, plain as day. There was a sac, there was a fetal pole, there was a heartbeat. It's 173. Like, wow. It's strong. Like, everybody's excited. Like, the doctor's like, this is great. Everything. I was measuring about 3 days behind. So, it made the due date go from 9/8 to 9/11. But the doctor said they're probably just going to keep it at September 8th. and they'll probably end up taking the baby on September 1st, so at 39 weeks. Other than that, I don't have to go back to the doctor until February 16th, and that's when we're going to do the NIP test, and we're going to find out what the sex is, and we'll have to do a gender reveal. Now, sometime before now and then, I have to take Kevin to the hospital because they wrote him an order for some blood work because I'm a carrier for the cystic fibrosis gene. So we've got to make sure that he's not a carrier. So we'll see. We're going to be telling the kids soon, so that'll be another video for you guys to watch. But this is the update to the update. Hope you guys enjoyed. See you next time. Like, subscribe, all that fun stuff. Thanks for watching.